Hello everyone! On behalf of Rainbow Loom, this is Angelyn, formerly known as Tutorials by A here on YouTube. Today I'm super excited to be showing you how to create this flower wrap bracelet using the Wrap-It Loom. The Wrap-It Loom is a new Rainbow Loom product that's an all-in-one friendship bracelet maker. You can create wrap bracelets, friendship bracelets, and macrame bracelets with it, and I've been having so much fun creating all these different bracelets with it. In today's video, I'll be showing you how to create this flower wrap bracelet, and it's pretty simple and easy to make, so I hope you enjoyed this tutorial and I hope you enjoy crafting with me today. For supplies today, you'll of course need your Wrap-It Loom. If you need help setting this up, please refer to our unboxing and assembly video. You'll also need 2 different types of string. I'll be using this purple thread today and this mint green cord. You'll also need these seed beads included within your kit as well as an S-clasp. It might be handy to have your instruction manual by your side while creating this bracelet, as it does include instructions on how to create this flower wrap bracelet as well. To make this flower wrap bracelet, we'll need 2 strands of 15 inches of cord, which is this mint green, and 2 strands of 25 inches of thread. The first page of our instruction manual has this helpful ruler which you can use to help measure your thread before you cut it. So I've measured out 15 inches of cord, and I have 2 strands of that, as well as 25 inches of this thread, and I have 2 strands of those as well. Every bracelet that we create with the Wrap-It Loom starts and ends the same. As you can see here, we have 2 knots at each end of the bracelet, and this is what helps us use the S-clasp to secure our bracelet to our wrist. So our first step today is to gather our threads and create 2 knots at the very end. So I'm first going to line all of my threads up to make sure that they're even. Then we need to create 2 knots at the end of this thread, just like you see here. You want to leave about 1 to 1.5 inches of space between them. And it doesn't matter what order that you tie the knots in. I prefer to tie my very end one first. So I'm going to scooch this knot all the way to the end. And it's okay if your tail is not perfectly even, or if you leave a little more room at the end than you would like, because you can always trim it later. So here's my first knot. And then I'm going to create a second one about 1 to 1.5 inches away from that knot. Like that. Now we're ready to add these threads to our Wrap-It Loom. I've first organized my threads to where the 2 cords are towards the outside and these 2 threads are towards the center. Just makes it a little easier for us to start working on the project in a moment. And now we're adding this to our loom at the top V-notch attachment here. There's several ways to do this. You can either slide this knot into here, into the V-notch and leave it, or you can use the stopper hole and insert this into here and then use the stopper to secure it inside of the stopper hole. Today I'll be using the stopper hole, but either works for this bracelet and all the other bracelets within this kit. Now if you haven't already placed your thread holder along the track at your desired length, it's the time to do that. My wrist is pretty small, so I'm going to leave my thread holder towards the top here. Once you've positioned that, we can take these 2 cords here and secure them to the thread holder through this stopper hole here. So I'm going to pull my cords through the stopper hole, and you can disregard the purple threads for now. Pull them so that way they're pretty taut, and then after that you can take this stopper and secure it into the stopper hole. I've turned this around just so you get another view. I have my 2 cords here going through the stopper hole, and then I'm going to secure them with the stopper, like that. So to start, we're going to orient our Wrap-It Loom so that way we have the thread holder and the track towards our body. As you can see, my threads are oriented to where I have these 2 cords in the center, and then I have my 2 threads out to the side here. Yours should be oriented the same way, and my 2 threads are kind of above my 2 cords right now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull them through the center of the 2 cords. I'm just going to reach in and grab them and pull them down. And then making sure that I'm keeping the left on the left side and the right thread on the right side, I'm going to pull these out like this. At this time, I'm going to remove my bead tray and rotate it 180 degrees so that way it stands up a little taller, and I'll add my beads in to one of these spots here. And now we're ready to start beading. The first beads we'll add are the ones that are green here on this bracelet, so I'm going to use yellow for this today. These 2 threads that I have in my hands are the ones that we'll be adding beads onto, and the 2 cords that are here will remain stationary for the duration of this project. Our first step is to thread 1 bead onto one of our strands. I'm going to do the right side just because I'm right-handed, but you can do your left side first if you would like. These slots here within the bead tray are to help you thread beads through. So I'm going to use them like that And once I have this bead on one of my threads, I'm going to use this second thread and thread it through in the opposite direction through this same bead. Like this, and now I have these two threads going through my bead in different directions. The right thread is going through towards the left, and the left thread is going through the bead towards the right. After you've done this, simply pull to secure the bead, like that. Now, after you place your bead on, we'll take these two threads and put them through the center of the two cords and pull them back out again. Make sure that you're leaving the left thread towards the left side, and then the right thread towards the right side. So you don't want to accidentally get them crisscrossed. Like this, and now we're ready to add our next bead on. So again, we're going to add the same color, or I guess you can change it up if you would like, but we're still going to add one bead at a time for now, since at the beginning here you can see that we have 4 single beads first before we start making our flower. So here I go again, adding a yellow bead on, and you can see my thread is going towards the left with my right strand, and my left strand is going to go in through the bead to the right, like this. Now I'll pull the two ends, like this, and then after your bead is threaded through, I'm going to take the left strand of my thread and pull it down into the cords and out, and then this right strand is going to go down through the center of these two cords and then back out to the right side again. And you can pull to secure, and we've added our second bead on. So we'll go ahead and do this 2 more times. Now I've added my 4 beads onto my bracelet, and we're ready to start adding the flowers on. As you can see here in this instruction booklet, we have this pattern here to the right. We've added our 1, 2, 3, 4 individual beads, and our next row of beads will be 2 of our flower beads. After that, we'll do 3 with a different color for the center of the flower, and then 2 again to complete the flower. For my first flower, I think I'll do green. So for this step, we're going to be adding 2 beads on. So I have my first one here, and then I have my second. So I've now threaded 2 beads at once through my right strand, and with my left strand of thread, I'm going to insert this in through both the 2 beads that are on this right strand. Like this. So now as you can see, I have my right strand of thread going through towards the left, and the left strand of thread is going through to the right. You can pull this to tighten. And just like we've done before, after we string our beads on, we'll take the left side thread and pull it down through the center through the cords, and the right side thread down through the center through the cords and back out to the right. Go ahead and pull again to secure, and we've added our first flower beads on. Now for the center of the flower, we'll be adding 3 beads on. Our first one will be our flower color. Our next one will be the center of our flower. And then our last one will be our flower color again. So here I've got my 3 beads on my right strand, and I'll go ahead and take my left strand and thread them through towards the right through all 3 beads. I find it helpful if you keep the 3 beads all connected together, and then that one thread will just go right through all 3 of them. So here is what I have now. I have my 3 beads with my 2 strands going through in opposite directions. I'm pulling to tighten. And now our last step is to take the left thread, pull it through the center towards the left, and the right thread, pull it through the center of the 2 cords towards the right. And now we have the center of our flower done. So I'll go ahead and add my last set of flower beads, which will just be 2 green beads again. So here's one, and here's another. And then I'll take my left thread and thread them through. And again, I'll take my left strand, pull it through the center of the 2 cords, and the right strand goes down through the center. And now we've created our first flower. After you've created your flower, the pattern starts over again. We'll be alternating between 4 single beads and then the flower. And for my wrist, I did 4 different flowers here on my bracelet and then 5 segments of the green, if that's helpful. I have a pretty small wrist. So we'll go ahead and continue this pattern till your desired bracelet length is achieved, and then I'll be back to show you how to finish off your bracelet. I've now finished my flower wrap bracelet and I'm ready to take it off of my Wrap It loom. The first thing I'll do is remove this stopper up here at the V-notch attachment. So I'll simply pull this off here to release the bracelet from the stopper hole up here. Now rotating my loom, I'm going to remove the opposite end, but we want to be careful with this end just to make sure that nothing unravels. So gently remove this stopper from the thread holder stopper hole. Then I'm going to pull this bracelet out, making sure to hold on to this end here. Like I mentioned earlier, all of our Wrap It loom bracelets will start and end the same with 2 knots here at the beginning and the end of the bracelet. So as you can see, we've got our 2 knots here, and now we've got to make our 2 knots at this end of the bracelet. So my first one, I'm going to make flush to where these beads are here at the end. So just make sure that you've pulled them tight so that way nothing is loose and coming down apart from the bracelet. And I'll just tie this into a knot like I did at the beginning of the bracelet. So here's my first knot, and now we're going to create a second knot about 1 to 1.5 inches away from this knot that we had just made. At this point, it's a good idea to take your bracelet along your wrist and just see how it measures. I already know that this will fit because I've made one before, but just check and make sure that it'll fit. With the S-clasp, you're able to kind of reduce the size of your bracelet a little bit by wrapping the tails around. So if you're noticing that your bracelet is a little bit too small, you can measure up to this knot here when you're measuring this around your wrist. If you're noticing that your bracelet is too small, you can tie your second knot a little bit further away from this first knot just to give you a little bit more room to make this fit on your hand. For me, I know this will fit pretty well, so I'm going to just go ahead and tie my second knot with about 1 inch of length. Trim the tail here and just cut off the excess. You don't have to leave a super long tail. And then I'll also trim the very beginning just to make all of these threads the same length. At this time, you'll want to grab an S-clasp, and this is how we'll secure this bracelet to our wrist. And it's a little easier to show on camera without me trying to put it on my own wrist, so I'll just show you how to close it first. To use this S-clasp, I'll first slide one tail onto one of the slits of the S-clasp here, and then we'll do the same thing to the other side. Like this. So now we've secured the bracelet with the S-clasp. However, if you notice that it's too big for your wrist like this, once you put it on, you can take one of the tails and pull this so that way you have a little slack out here. And now wrap this tail around in through the other end of the S-clasp so that way you've tightened that tail. If this length is still a little too big for you, you can do the same thing to the other tail. So here's the one that I haven't wrapped around yet. I'll go ahead, give this little pull, wrap it around the S-clasp, and slide this through the other slot here. After this, if you have some more room within your tail, you can go ahead and pull it and wrap again through the S-clasp if you would like, and you can continue to do that until you achieve your desired length. And that is how you create this flower wrap bracelet on the Wrap It loom. Thanks so much for watching this tutorial. I really hope you enjoyed learning how to make this bracelet. I think it just looks So cute, and I love how simple and easy it is to make. I probably made this in about 20 minutes, and I can't wait to make more. I and the Rainbow Loom team would love to see your Wrap It Loom creations on our social media, so be sure to tag us at this username and post to the hashtag Rainbow Loom. Be sure to check out the description box below to find out where you can purchase your own Wrap It Loom. And again, thanks so much for watching this tutorial, and I look forward to seeing you in our next video here on Rainbow Loom's channel. Bye!